I shared your teaching with my sister, and for the past year, she has taken your teaching, and I believe has helped her in her life, and in turn, she has helped me. My question is,
You know how fun it is to consciously co-create with your sister? Just imagine how your inner being feels about this. We want to tell you a very quick story. Esther was playing with friends, and there were 3 generations of them all playing together, playing table games and having fun with each other. They were together for a few days, really having a wonderful time. And then everybody sort of went home, and Esther is with one friend who had been there with them all. And Esther said, I am so happy that I get to watch these little kids know what they know and play with us like they do, and that we get to watch them thriving through so much of their lives, that we get to watch them remember who they are and watch them watch us remember who we are. And Esther is nearly weeping with appreciation of how satisfying it was for her to watch these children. And her friend said, Esther, that must be how our inner beings feel about us. Yeah. And that feeling washed over them, in other words. And so that's what we want you to feel there. The satisfaction that you're feeling with your human dear heart that you're playing with is just a fraction of what your inner being feels like when you do that co-creative dance with them on a conscious basis. Yeah, really good.
I feel very fortunate. I've been practicing what you teach without even knowing it.
Yes, it's natural to you.
It's natural to me. I've received, or believe I've been in the receiving mode all my life.
Yes.
Including right now.
Yes.
However, I get migraines. And
well, we want to talk about that, but we wanted to say to you, when you are really in the receiving mode, there is not any howevers. You see, the receiving mode, this isn't like a college degree where once you get it, it's yours forevermore. It either is or it isn't in the moment. And so the migraine is an example of, or an extension of, or the manifested version of the tension of energies. That's all. And so what's happening is, first, you're right, you do tap in. Next, like almost everybody, you don't stay tapped in. And then you're hard on yourself. Somebody else talked about that today, when you're not tapped in. And so that's why, you know, earlier when we were saying you're so serious, so we were talking to you. You're so serious, 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 you're so determined, you're so serious. And what we want to say to all of you, and you don't want to hear it, but we want you to hear it, so we're going to just keep saying it. There's nothing serious going on. Everything's in flow, everything's unfolding just right. But when you take too much responsibility on yourself, here's what it really is about. And we're speaking to everyone, especially you, but we're speaking to everyone with these next statements. When you are aware of your life, mostly from the manifestational stance in which you are standing, where you're seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching the present outcomes, the present outcomes, the present outcomes. There's not enough leverage in that awareness to really have any power. All the power is over here in a better feeling place. And so that's why we use words like trying too hard or too much effort. It's like pushing a noodle. You just can't get it done. And so what that requires is starting again. And we don't mean starting over. We mean in this moment, releasing all the resistance and then finding a new alignment and then proceeding. But if you start in the middle and proceed, then you bring your attention with you. So now think about, you're really going to like this. Think about what we were talking about earlier. We felt you all receive it when we were talking about it. Getting ready to be ready to be ready, getting ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. You're following that. We like that you're getting that. So satisfaction all the way along. Satisfied and more, satisfied and more, satisfied and more, satisfied and more. There's no tension in satisfied. And then we offered something today that we've not ever said to you before, that when you're in this place of satisfaction and you allow yourself to stay there almost mindlessly, because you're not doing that thing that slows any momentum down. The natural law of attraction must make that momentum more. So when a no resistance state of being receives more momentum, there's still no resistance, but it's moving faster, and there's still no resistance and it's moving faster, and there's still no resistance and it's moving faster, and there's no migraine either. But if you're jumping over here where there already is resistance, and then you're adding momentum and adding momentum, then you're adding the momentum of desire and the momentum of belief. And so now it's like law of attraction is responding to both vibrational aspects of you, which is causing the tension to get greater and greater and greater and greater. And that's what a migraine is. Here's a good analogy. So I have a desire, and my desire in this analogy is represented by an engine, a powerful engine, like a locomotive. I'm a train on a track that's flat. There's no mountain. It's just a flat plane. And I put an engine over there. That's my engine of desire. And then I believe something in opposition. I say a but, and I put an engine that's equal going in the opposite direction, which makes me want this more. So I put another engine over there, which makes me doubt it more. So I put another engine over there, which makes me want it more. So I put another engine over there, which makes me doubt it more. So I put another engine over there. So now I've got all these powerful engines pulling in opposition to each other. That's a migraine. And I can't help it because I have all of these beliefs. I have desires and beliefs, both of which I've picked up along my physical trail, that are working in opposition with each other. So I have to reframe myself. I have to reteach myself, because over here I believe, if I'm like most humans, I believe that I'm not all that worthy or things would be going better. And I believe that source is in a better place than I am, and that I've been put here to be tested. And I believe that others are doing better than I am because they're smarter than I am, or they were born in a better place, or they're applying the laws of the universe better, or they've been reading more Abraham books. I believe things that work against me. I don't mean to believe them, but I've observed, and then I've come to flawed premises. So I have beliefs, if I'm like most humans, that are not serving me. And so I've got desires and beliefs that don't serve me. And if I keep just starting there, then I build momentum by my attention to my subjects, but I build a tense momentum. It's like, here's another way of saying it. Every subject is really two subjects, wanted and absence of what is wanted. That makes sense to you, doesn't it? So let's say I'm activating within myself the subject called prosperity. So I, in essence, pick up a stick with prosperity written on it, and what is wanted is on one end, and lack of what is wanted is on the other end. And as I pick up that stick, I already have a pattern of vibration about it. I got it from my mother, who told me every day that we didn't have enough money and that I shouldn't ask for things they couldn't afford. I got it from my community that was always asking for more taxes for this and that and the other. I picked it up in a lot of different places, but I have a belief about this natural desire that is not serving me. And without knowing it, every time I talk about prosperity, I activate both my desire part of it and my belief part of it. And if I keep talking about it in this flawed place, both ends will get bigger and the tension will get stronger. We're making the case for what we've been talking about all day here today. Law of attraction is responding to my thoughts called beliefs, just like law of attraction is responding to my thoughts called desires. And so when I think about money, I think about wanting it and not having enough, and wanting it and not having enough, and wanting it and not having enough. And so I'm building up that tension. But that's because I'm approaching life in the action. That's because I'm approaching life out here in the manifestation. That's because I'm looking at other people and how they're prospering, and I'm looking at how they're living, and I'm measuring myself against them, and I'm trying to make it about action, and I'm trying to make it about how much I can earn per hour, and I'm trying to make it about stuff that it isn't about. But what if that was finally so exhausting and my head hurts so much that I just say, I give up. I give up. I give it up. I'm tired. I'm too tired to fight my own battle with myself anymore. I'm going to take 15 minutes and I'm going to start over. I'm going to quiet my mind of this, but I'm not. I'm thinking about that. But I intend to quiet my mind, but I'm not. I'm thinking about that. 15 minutes goes by and I'm still thinking about it, but I'm trying not to think about it. So I've taken my tension right into my meditation. But tomorrow is another day and I'm going to do it tomorrow. So tomorrow I sit, and this time I think, Abraham said, if I think about what I'm not going to think about, I'm going to be thinking about it. So I'm not going to think about what I'm not going to think about. I'm going to think about the dripping faucet. I'm going to think about my breathing out and in. I'm going to think about the sound in the air conditioner. The condenser makes a really good steady sound that you can isolate and focus in on. Or turn a fan on, turn some noise on. Get a clock that ticks loud and listen to it. Something that requires some focus, so you'll have to focus, but doesn't take you down the wild goose chase that so many thoughts take you. And focus there on that, and just keep bringing yourself back to it, because your mind is going to wander. It is, because your mind has active things in it that are going to call you. But if every day you sit with the intention of quieting your mind, it will not be many days before you will manage to get into that detached state. And when you do, the freedom from your binding beliefs, the freedom from your flawed premises, will allow you a receptive mode that you haven't been in before. A receptive mode that will give you access to a part of yourself, to an energy of source, to the energy that creates worlds, and to thoughts that you have not been privy to before. This is satisfying experience. That's the best sales job for meditating we've ever given. And so it's like pushing the reset button. It's like every hindering belief that I've ever held is in a different place now, and every productive belief that my inner being has been tending in the garden of the vortex is now more accessible to me. I'm more in the receiving mode than I've ever been before. And as those thoughts begin to flow, they're thoughts that just feel like freedom and feel like satisfaction. It feels like comfort. It feels like well-being. As those thoughts come to you, there's a relaxation in your body. There's a cellular awareness. There's a communication between the trillions of cells in your body and their non-physical counterparts. In other words, your cells have an inner cell too. Everything's communicating, and just feel yourself lighter and lighter until you can't even tell you're sitting in the chair. It doesn't even really matter where you are. You are detached from the physical, which means you are attached from everything that has ever bound you. And now that you're detached from everything that has ever bound you, now who you really are and what you really know can come forefront into your mind. Do a little bit of that and watch what happens in your life experience.
I believe I can get there, but I can't get there
from here.
When I'm excruciating pain.
That's not the time. That's the last time.
So
no, take a pill and go to bed.
What?
That's not the time. I'm like a rubber cars, and I got a train going 100 miles an hour that way, and the other engine's going 100 miles an hour that way, and I am being stretched. And under those conditions, I'm not going to find a pleasant thought. That's the time to just do your best to become unconscious.
So when the pill doesn't work, because lately that's where I'm at.
But see, here's the thing. It's not always where you are. And any conversation that we have with you about that is just reinforcing that belief. So we're just not going to talk with you about that anymore. And we're not denying that it's real. But this is the reality that we're trying to get you to ignore. And you say, I hear you, Abraham. And boy, oh boy, I am the first person that would like to ignore this reality. But it's screaming pretty loud in my experience. And we say, it'll scream less loud all the time. Watch and see. It will. It just will. Because it is a byproduct of what you haven't been doing over here. And when you start getting to this, that will become less and less and less. It is our promise to you. It's energy. It's energy manifested. Every manifestation is energy manifested. Everything that everyone is living is about what they've been doing with the energy. It's the manifestation of the energy. Every single time, no exceptions. Do you know, if your inner being wasn't loving you so much, when you're mad at someone, it wouldn't hurt so much. Your inner being is so aware of the perfection of your cellular apparatus, and if your inner being didn't hold that knowledge, then getting crossways of it wouldn't give you pain. Esther has said to us a time or two, Abraham, stop knowing what you know, because your knowing what you know is causing me a lot of distress. So I wish you'd just take a nap, Abraham. Just take a nap. Just stop pulling. Just stop pulling, because I can't, and I think you can, so just stop it. but we never do. You have to make the adjustment into the well-being. Helpful?